Baldur's Gate 3, one of the most successful RPGs in recent history, a game that redefined the CRPG genre, broken sales records, and earned critical acclaim across the board from fans and critics alike. So how is it that a company like WizKids could completely fumble such a golden opportunity? Today, we are going to dive into the controversy that has miniatures, collectors, and Baldur's Gate fans furious all throughout, the massive backlash over the embarrassingly bad WizKids minifigure line, what went wrong, and what WizKids is supposedly doing to fix it, which, by the way, spoiler alert, it just might be a little bit too late. Special shout out to all of you 88,700 members out there that are subscribed to this channel, and the little over 50% that are not subscribed. Consider hitting that subscribe button today. I would greatly appreciate it. So to understand why this backlash has hit so hard, we need to understand the sheer cultural impact of Baldur's Gate 3, which was released by Larian Studios, unfortunately, who will not be working on Baldur's Gate 4. By the way, the game became a phenomenon. It dominated the Steam charts. It won Game of the Year at the 2023 Game Awards. It reinvigorated turn-based RPGs. It became the go-to reference for how a game should respect its audience. And with that success came a wave of merchandise. Obviously, you have dice, posters, art books, and yes, even miniature figures for tabletop play. That's where WizKids stepped in, which is known for producing official D&D miniatures for years. Many fans were excited to finally get official physical versions of their favorite characters from the game. But unfortunately, that just didn't really work out. But when WizKids announced that they were producing miniatures for Baldur's Gate 3 companions and enemies, fans were hyped. The promo images looked amazing, from Shadowheart's intricate armor, to Astarion's smug expression, to Karlach's fiery rage. The renders promised detail, personality, and quality. These were not just any D&D minis. These were representations of characters players had formed deep connections with, characters people had romance, battled alongside, and wept over. So naturally, expectations were high. This game has characters that people make all kinds of art and all kinds of lore about. You have all kinds of fan fiction being made over these characters. And yet, unfortunately, when these miniatures came out, it wasn't exactly met with very high praise. But when the figures actually started shipping, the nightmare ultimately began. What fans received was nothing like the promotional images. You wouldn't even believe it if I told you, which is why I have to show you. Paint jobs were sloppy, faces were smudged, distorted, or missing key details. Skin tones were wildly off. Characters were completely unrecognizable. Shadowheart looked like she had a melted face. It was basically a melted wax figure. Astarion looked like a cartoon villain in all the worst ways. Lyzel had two different colored arms. People started comparing them to dollar store toys or bootleg knockoffs that you would find on a shady website. And remember, these figures were not cheap. Fans had paid premium prices expecting premium quality, and all they got was the dollar store version of that said item. Within hours of the first figures arriving, social media blew up. It was ablaze. Reddit posts hit the front page of Baldur's Gate 3 and D&D, saying the following: "I feel scammed. How is this even legal? They look worse than AI-generated miniatures." The backlash was immediate and overwhelming, and rightfully so. Again, you would not even believe me and what I was telling you and how bad that it actually was unless I had pictures to prove it. And if it wasn't for these pictures, I don't think anybody would have believed it. It's crazy to imagine that we are in a world where a company like WizKids can put out a product like this and expect nobody to say anything. How could you even stand by this is beyond me. So why did this particular failure sting so much? Well, part of it obviously is the emotional investment people have. Baldur's Gate 3 is not just another D&D product. It's a game where people fell in love with characters. They cried during major story moments and created lifelong memories. To see those beloved characters reduced to plastic blobs felt like an insult. Even worse, those plastic blobs are melted off. It just looked terrible. Another part is the timing. WizKids released these figures at the peak of Baldur's Gate 3's popularity. Even now, Baldur's Gate 3 has a higher concurrent player base than most modern new release video games. I'm not even kidding. The game is consistently played over and over and over again because of the multiple replayability aspects of the game, as well as the multiple endings that you can get, as well as modifications that you could do on the PC platform. There is so many reasons to continue to keep visiting Baldur's Gate 3 and experiencing what you can get out of the game. So the game is very popular. There is no doubt about it. This was a chance to make something special from WizKids, a moment to deliver collector-worthy pieces, but instead, fans just got burned. And you can even say that literally, considering how melted some of these figures actually are. And let's not forget, this isn't WizKids' first rodeo either. They've been in the miniature business for decades. People expected better. People deserved better. But of course, in response to the actual avalanche of criticism, WizKids finally broke their silence. They issued a formal statement acknowledging the issue and offered full refunds to anybody who purchased directly from their web store. They said the following: "We sincerely apologize that the Baldur's Gate 3 miniatures did not meet expectations. We are offering full refunds for anyone who purchased through our official online store. We value our customers and the fans of this beloved game." It is worth noting, however, that the refund only applies to orders made through their own store. Third-party purchases, you're out of luck, and no mention was made of whether or not the figures will be remade or corrected. For many, the apology felt like corporate damage control. Too little, too late, and they were only willing to do it from their own personal store. That is an abysmal way to handle this particular backlash and this particular conversation. I would not be surprised if they do not start offering refunds from third-party websites. If we don't have a class action lawsuit against WizKids at some point in time, I would be highly surprised, because these figures are, again, ridiculous. Looking at these pictures, I cannot believe they even exist. While some fans appreciated the refund offer, others pointed out the obvious. This never should have happened in the first place. People don't just want their money back. They wanted the figures that they were promised. They wanted the quality that they were shown. But of course, in contrast, fans pointed to Larian Studios as the model of transparency and quality. Many wondered how a company like WizKids could be so out of sync with the spirit of the game that they were trying to profit from. Some fans even called on Larian to take control of the IP and end their licensing deal with WizKids entirely. But in their follow-up statement, WizKids hinted that they're evaluating their production process and considering future updates for the Baldur's Gate 3 line. But there's no confirmation of reprints, replacements, or revised editions. Now, I don't know why they would even want to even bother trying to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, we're gonna reevaluate and consider when we make future figures to try to make them better. Bro, nobody cares about the future figures when the current ones look like this. They also announced that future releases will include better oversight and enhanced quality control, something that should have been in place already from the beginning, but for some reason never was. But the trust, well, it's been shattered. For many collectors, WizKids now carries a stigma. People will think twice before buying them again, and can you really blame them? Not really. To be honest with you, they need to do right by the third-party purchasers. If they do not start offering refunds for third-party purchases, this is going to end really bad for them. So this controversy is part of a larger problem in the industry, whereas licensed merchandise is lately often being rushed out to capitalize on hype with little care for the actual quality of what's being sold. Too often are companies relying on the goodwill of the brand to sell products regardless of the final result. Fans are catching on, whether it's miniatures, clothing, collector's editions, which, by the way, the collector's editions are so insulting now because they don't even give you physical discs anymore. Most of them don't even give you the freaking game anymore half the time. It is insane. They'll give you everything else but the damn physical version of the game, or even special releases. People are starting to expect more, and they should, because we have gone way too long being told we're going to get more and accepting less. That needs to end. WizKids had a chance to celebrate something truly special. Instead, they reminded every single person why consumers need to be cautious even when the product is tied to something that they love. Never trust a company, no matter how often they say they're going to do right by you, and no matter how often they say they're going to continue to give you what you supposedly want. Because if you look at those pictures and you look at the actual product that came out, you're going to realize this is one of the biggest lies in recent memory that I can think of, not just from a miniature standpoint, but overall from a consumer standpoint. This is abysmal, and the fact that this is not being talked about more is shocking to me. So where do we ultimately go from here? I mean, WizKids has offered refunds, but again, like I said earlier in the video, they're only offering refunds on the products that were purchased from their own store. They've acknowledged the backlash, but they still haven't really fully earned the community's trust back. And I don't really feel like they're even trying, to be honest with you. I think fans deserved better, gamers deserved better, and Baldur's Gate 3 as a franchise deserved better. The fans overall have a right to be upset, and hopefully this serves as a wake-up call, not just to WizKids, but to every company looking to profit off of a passionate fan base without delivering on their promises. This game continues to be extremely impressive and pull in numbers that they need to realize matter. If you are going to put out content, and if you're going to put out miniatures or anything that's even remotely a collectible, make sure you do the due diligence and actually put in the time to ensure the product meets the standards of the people that you were trying to sell it to. It's not like they're the ones who made up the mock-ups and made up the posters showing what they were going to get. They were just a consumer looking at what you showed them. You're the one who showed them what they were going to look like. You're the one who showed them what the actual miniature was supposed to look like. So when they got their crappy product and they look at it and it looked like a melted candle, I think it's fair for them to be upset, and I think it's fair for them to complain. They have every right to, and you deserve all the backlash that you're actually getting. So WizKids ends up ending their statement with the following. They say, "Please accept our sincerest apologies for the frustration and disappointment these quality issues caused our customers. We too feel the same, as the final product did not meet our expectations or that of our Wizards of the Coast partner." If that was true, then how the hell did they get shipped? They got shipped because somebody at quality control said these were good for consumption by the masses. You guys are the ones that shipped this product. You are the ones that supposedly looked through everything before shipping it. So how can you say now, after the fact, that these didn't meet your standard when you were perfectly fine with shipping it, hoping that nobody was going to notice? And then they said, "Our teams are working to find the best solutions to resolve this for all involved and to work with you, our customers, to fix this. We appreciate your patience as we focus on getting back to those affected and helping them with their refunds in a timely manner. With sincerest appreciation, WizKids." So again, WizKids unfortunately is effing around and finding out really quickly, and I think it's only a matter of time before you are going to see mass refunds across the board. Anybody who purchased this product needs to be raising a massive stink on it, and do not let them continue on without getting backlash for it, because if you do, if they feel like they can really get away with this is going to be a big problem. You're going to have some fans that are saying that WizKids minis were always bad, that they're essentially pre-painted garbage, and that nobody should be surprised as to how bad these are. But that doesn't matter, because they were sold one thing on a poster and they were given something else. Had there not been a poster that showed what the miniatures were supposed to look like, then perhaps people who are saying that would have an argument. But because they showed those miniatures and what they were supposed to look like and what people got was totally different, then people have every right to complain about the product not meeting their standards, considering they were sold something completely different. But of course, you're going to have people try to not defend WizKids, but essentially take the role of blame and put it back on the people, where they're saying things like, well, if you ordered mini from WizKids, well, and you expected anything else, then that's on you. I don't think that's very fair. So in any case, let me know down in the comments down below, what do you think? Is this the fault of the fans who bought miniatures expecting anything better from WizKids? Or is this the fault from WizKids, the company who actually made the product, sold you one thing visually, and gave you another physically? Whose fault is it? Down in the comments down below, let me know. Special shout out to all of the Bigot Army members who are currently joined on this channel. Thank you guys so much for supporting an extra step. And if you are not a member of this channel and you enjoy my videos and my live streams and what I do, consider hitting that join button today. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.